Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make that hat that you just seen on the mannequin. Here it is right here. It's got a little flower in the button, which you could, of course you can leave that off if you want. And it's got the little brim here that kind of flaps over the sides of your eyes just a little bit. And you can always make this brim longer. I explain that later in the video. It's got a little band, just a band of single crochet, and the rest is V-stitches. It's actually really pretty easy. So let's go ahead and get started on it. I'll set this to the side. I'm going to say a special thanks to my friends at Red Heart for providing today's yarn for me. Today I'm using the Red Heart Hopscotch yarn. It is a 100% medium weight acrylic. And it's actually really nice. Even though it's 100% acrylic, it's got a little bit of a fuzz. It almost feels woolly. But, I mean, it's a quite nice yarn to work with. I enjoyed working with it. There are 210 yards per skein, and you'll just need one skein to make this hat. And the color that I use is called Somersault. I will put a link below to where you can get this yarn. And also, please don't forget to check out redheart.com, where they got thousands of free crochet and knitting patterns on there. And also, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. When you hit the subscribe button, the little bell will come up. If you click that, you'll always get notified every time I put on a new tutorial. And also, I'll put a link below to my blog where you can get the free written pattern for this hat. And then I'm going to be using a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Okay, you want to start off with the slip knot on your hook. And then we're going to start off with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. And you can use the magic circle here if you prefer. Okay, and then you want to chain 1. Now that chain 1 I did does not count as anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and work a V-stitch through the center of the ring. So we do a V-stitch by doing a double crochet, a chain 1, and another double crochet. So that's the V. Double, chain 1, double. Now we want to work 6 total V-stitches through the center. So this would be my first one. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one. I'm going to double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. So that's 2 V-stitches, and you can slide them over as you go. Do another one, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So that's 3 V-stitches. There's 4 V-stitches. Now I'm not chaining in between the V-stitches, just only the chain of the V-stitch. Now I've lost track of how many I have. I think I got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I want to do one more, so I'm going to slide it over. And I'm going to have a total of 6. Just like that. So once you got your 6 V-stitches, you can pull your tail, and usually that center circle will close up a bit more. Now you want to end round 1 by slip stitching into the first double crochet of the first V-stitch. Just like that. And now you'll have 6 V-stitches at the end of round 1. So we're going to slip stitch one time to that chain 1 space of the first V-stitch. So go ahead and slip stitch right into there. And we're going to chain 1. Now that chain 1 doesn't count as anything. Now we're going to do a V-stitch increase in this space. So what we're going to do is go through and do a double crochet, a chain of 1, same spot, another double crochet, a chain of 1, in the same spot, another double crochet. So what that is, it's like you have 2 V-stitches there, kind of. If you look, this one, and then this center one counts as this one too. So there's like 2 there. And that's what we want to do in every chain 1 space of the 6 V-stitches from the previous round. So we'll go ahead and we'll find the next V-stitch is right here, the chain 1 space. So we'll go right into it, and we're going to do a double crochet, a chain of 1, a double crochet, a chain of 1, and another double crochet, just like that. So now again, we'll find the next V-stitch, the chain 1 space of the next V-stitch, and we'll do it again. Go right into it, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And we're going to do that in each of the 6 V-stitches. So we got 3 of them done, so we'll just continue around to the next one. Double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and double. Okay, the next one, double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and double. Oh, I pulled out my yarn. I got a bunch of yarn barf. Hate that. Sorry about that. And then we'll have 1 V-stitch left here, and we want to do the same thing into that. Double, chain 1, double, chain 1, and 1 more double in the same spot. Now we'll end round 2 by slip stitching into the first double crochet of that first V-stitch increase. Now what you'll have now is you'll have 6 of these V-stitch increases still. That's what I call them, these right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or you're going to have 12 chain 1 spaces. Okay? Okay, so we're going to slip stitch 1 time to this first chain 1 space. And we're going to chain 1, which doesn't count as anything, and we're going to work a regular V-stitch into this first chain 1 space. So we're going to yarn over and double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Just like that. Now into the next chain 1 space, we're going to do a V-stitch increase. So that's where we're going to go in, and we're going to do a double crochet, a chain 1, a double crochet, a chain 1, and then another double crochet, just like that. So we're going to jump over here to the next chain 1 space. It's not this space right here in between these V-stitches. This is not a chain 1. It's right over here, these 2 chain spaces, 1 here and 1 here. We're going to do a regular V-stitch into the first chain 1 space. And then in the next chain 1 space, we'll do the V-stitch increase again. So we'll go ahead and double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet, just like that. Now we jump right over here, and you can see these 2 chain 1 spaces again. We do a regular double crochet into the first one, or a regular V-stitch, I'm sorry, into the first one. So a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then the next one we'll get the V-stitch increase. So that'll be a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet, just like that. Now we're going to do that all the way around. The next one right here, it'll be a regular V-stitch and then a V-stitch increase, regular V-stitch and a V-stitch increase, and you want to do that until you get back around to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming around to the end of round 3, and I did my last V-stitch here, and my last chain 1 space is going to be a V-stitch increase. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and 1 more double crochet. And you want to end round 3 by slip stitching into the first double crochet of your first V-stitches. Now what you'll have at the end of round 3, you'll have 6 regular V-stitches and then you'll have 6 of the V-stitch increases. Okay, for round 4, we're going to slip stitch 1 time to the first chain 1 space. And we're going to chain 1. Doesn't count as anything. Now we're going to work a regular V-stitch right here in the first V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now we're going to jump to the next chain 1 space. It's actually the first chain 1 of this V-stitch increase. And we're going to do a regular V-stitch into the first chain 1 of it. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Now the next chain space right here of this V-stitch increase from the previous round, we're going to do a V-stitch increase in it. So we're going to go into it and do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and 1 more double crochet. And that's kind of what we're going to repeat all the way around. So we're going to do a regular V-stitch into the next V-stitch. That. And then this V-stitch increase from the previous round, we're going to do a regular V-stitch into the first chain 1 space of it, and a V-stitch increase into the next chain 1 space of it. So go ahead to the first chain 1 and do a regular V-stitch. And the next one we'll do a V-stitch increase. So we'll go in and double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Now we're just going to keep repeating that. So we do a regular V-stitch into the top of this next, or into the chain 1 space of the next V-stitch. Now this V-stitch increase right here from the previous round, we do a regular V-stitch into the first chain 1 space of it, and a V-stitch increase into the next chain 1 space of it. So go ahead and do a regular V-stitch into the first chain 1, and then the V-stitch increase into the next chain 1 space of it. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Now we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around to the end of round 4. So it'll be a regular double crochet, or I'll keep saying that, a regular V-stitch, a regular V-stitch, and then a V-stitch increase. Regular V, and V-stitch increase until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 4, and I just did my last V-stitch increase, so I'm going to slip stitch, end up by slip stitching into the first double crochet of the first V. And now you should have 12 regular V-stitches and 6 of the V-stitch increases this time around. So for round 5, we're going to do 1 more row of increases. So we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into the first chain 1 space of the first V, chain 1, and we're going to work a V-stitch right back into that chain 1 space. And then we're going to work a V-stitch into the next V-stitch. And then we're going to work a V-stitch in the first chain 1 space of the next V-stitch increase. Just a regular V-stitch. And now we're going to do a V-stitch increase into the next chain 1 space of this V-stitch increase from the previous round. So go ahead and do a double crochet, a chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. So we're going to repeat that again. We're going to put 3 V-stitches in a row and then a V-stitch increase. So go ahead and put a V-stitch into the next chain 1 space, a V-stitch into the next chain 1 space, a V-stitch here into the next chain 1 space, and then a V-stitch increase into the next chain 1 space. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And again, I'm going to repeat that. 3 V-stitches in each of the next chain 1 spaces, and then a V-stitch increase. 3 V-stitches again into the next chain 1 spaces, and then a V-stitch increase. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around to the end of round 5. Okay, I made it to the end of round 5, and you'll have 18 regular V-stitches and 6 of the V-stitch increases this time. So you want to go ahead and end round 5 by slip stitching into the first double crochet of the first V. Now for round 6, we're not going to do any more increases right now. What we're going to do is just slip stitch over to the first chain 1 space, chain 1, and now we're going to do a regular V-stitch in chain 1 of every V-stitch, and in the chain 1 of every V-stitch increase. So I'm just going to yarn over and do a do a V-stitch, jump to the next chain 1 space and do a V-stitch, and the next chain 1 space and do a V-stitch, and then you can see here was the V-stitch increase from the previous row. Just do a V-stitch in each one of the chain 1 spaces. So no more increasing this time, just straight V-stitches in every chain 1 space. And I'm going to do this until I get back around to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 6, and now you want to end it by slip stitching into that first double crochet of that first V, and now you should have a total of 30 V stitches. And now we're just going to do rounds of V stitches for a little while. So we're just going to repeat that last round that we did. We're going to slip stitch over into the first chain 1 space, chain 1, and then we're going to do a V stitch in the first chain 1 space, and then a V-stitch into the next chain 1 space, and again another V-stitch, and we're just going to do 1 V-stitch to every chain 1 space all the way around, just like we did on row 6. So I'm just going to keep repeating the last row that we did, and you should always have 30 V-stitches at the end of every row. Just like that. Now the hat will start coming down a little bit. Okay, I went ahead and repeated that row 6 for a total of 11 rounds, and that's starting from the very beginning. I have 11 now total, and you should have 30 V-stitches now. And I know it probably looks a little bit big to you, and that's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. It's supposed to look like that. But now we're going to tighten it back up a little bit to make it fit a little bit tighter. So around 12, I slip stitched right there. That's how I ended my round. So for round 12, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go back into the same stitch, the same double crochet, and I'm going to do a single crochet. And then I'm going to single crochet into the next double crochet. I'm skipping that chain space and just going right into the double crochet. Single crochet into the next double crochet, skip the chain space, and single crochet into the next double crochet. So for round 12, I'm just single crocheting in every double crochet of every V-stitch. I'm not putting anything in the chain 1 space. I'm skipping that. Only the double crochets I'm putting a single crochet in them. And I'm going to do that all the way around until I get back to the beginning. 1 single crochet in every double crochet of every V-stitch. Nothing in the chain 1 spaces, we're just skipping that entirely. Just like that. So you want to continue that all the way around till you get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 12, and now you should have a total of 60 single crochets. Now I'm not going to end with the slip stitch. I'm actually going to work it around now, so you want to use the stitch marker. I'm just going to use this piece of yarn right here, and I'm going to stick it right here. That way I know where my round ends and where it begins. So 60 stitches at the end of round 12. So for round 13, I'm going to jump over to the first single crochet, not the chain 1, but the first single crochet, and I'm going to single crochet right into it. And now I'm going to work around, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch again, all the way back to my stitch marker. And then when I get back to my stitch marker, I still should have 60 stitches. And then I will move my marker up and go around again. So I'm going to do a few rounds of single crochet now to kind of put a band on the hat. So continue working around, 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to your stitch marker. And when you get to that, you just move it up, and then you continue around again. You should always have 60 stitches when you make it back to your stitch marker. Okay, I went ahead and repeated those rounds of single crochet until I hit a total of 16 rounds total. That's counting from the very top, 16. So we did, from the very top, we did 11 rounds of the V-stitches, and then I did 5 rounds of the single crochet. So, and you still should have 30 stitches now. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch. Now you can move that stitch marker because we're not going to need it right now. Go ahead and take it out. Now I'm going to start putting the rim kind of on the hat. And we're going to work V-stitches again. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go back into that same stitch and work a regular V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, like that. Now I'm going to skip 1 stitch, and I'm going to do a V-stitch increase into the next. So I'm going to go in to the next. Remember, you're skipping 1, going into the next, and doing your V-stitch increase. That's where we double crochet, chain 1, go back in, double crochet, chain 1, go back in the same stitch, and double crochet. I'm going to skip 1, and I'm going to do a regular V into the next. Just a regular V stitch, like that. Now I'm going to skip 1 and do a V stitch increase into the next. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Skip 1, do a regular V stitch into the next. Skip 1 and do a V stitch increase into the next. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. We're on round 17 now. So it's skip 1, a regular V-stitch, skip 1, V-stitch increase, skip 1, regular, skip 1, increase, all the way around until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I've come to the end of round 17. My last stitch was a V-stitch increase. You should have 1 stitch left to skip, so go ahead and skip that and end round 17 with a slip stitch into the first double crochet of the first V. Now you should have 15 regular V-stitches and 15 V-stitch increases this time around. So now we're going to do, for round 18, is slip stitch 1 time into the first V-stitch, chain 1, and go back into it and V-stitch. just like that. Now I'm going to put one V-stitch in every single chain one space. No more increasing now. So it's just one V-stitch in every every chain one space of every V-stitch, and every chain one space of every V-stitch increase, all the way around until you get back to the beginning. So it's just straight V-stitches now on round 18. Just like that. V-stitch in every chain one space until you get back around to the beginning. Okay, once you make it to the end of round 18, just go ahead and end with a slip stitch into your first double crochet, and you should have 45 V-stitches. Now what you want to do for round 19 is just repeat round 18, slip stitch over into your first V-stitch, chain one, and it's just one V-stitch in every V-stitch, or the chain one space of every V-stitch all the way around again. So we're just repeating, for round 19, we're just repeating round 18, just like this. So when you make it back around, at the end of round 19, you still should have 45 V-stitches. So just go ahead and repeat the previous round one more time. Okay, once you make it to the end of round 19, got your 45 V-stitches, go ahead and end with a slip stitch into your first V-stitch, and I'm going to go ahead and tie off here. Now you can continue to do rows of V-stitches if you want the brim part of your hat, I guess is what it's called, to be lower. That's fine. You just might need more yarn than what I initially said in the beginning. But if you want it longer, you could just continue doing rounds of the 45 V-stitches. That's completely up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and tie off right now and hide this tail. Okay, I want to make a flower for mine. This is optional. You don't have to do that. But if you want to, go ahead and start with a slip knot, just a simple little flower. And we're going to start with a chain of 5. Now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring, just like that. Now we're going to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that chain of 4 is going to act as a triple crochet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work 3 more triple crochets into the center of our circle. So we're going to yarn over twice, go in and work our triple crochet 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and there's 3. Now I'm going to chain 4, and I'm going to slip stitch right back into the ring. And that is our first petal. And we're going to have 5 petals. So we're going to repeat that again. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could slide this over as you go. And I'm going to work 3 triple crochets through the ring. So 1, 2, 3, then I'm going to chain 4 and go through the center of the ring and slip stitch, and that is petal number 2. And keep sliding it over there. Start again, chain 4, 3 triples through the ring, 1, 2, 3, chain 4, oops, lost that one, and slip stitch back into the center of the ring again. So now I got 3 petals, and I'm going to keep going until I get 5. Okay, I did my last petal and I chained 4. Just go ahead and slip stitch into the center of the ring, and then clip your yarn off. If you want to clip it a little longer so we can sew it on, that'd probably be a good idea. Like that. And there you go. Pull that to make your center circle smaller. I will probably put a little button here or something in the middle. I usually do that. But then you can just take your hat. If you want to put it on whatever side you want. If you want to put the flower on. Let me pull my camera up a bit here. And you can just sew it right onto the brim. Just like that. With a regular yarn. Just your tail that you left. And a yarn needle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to find the back of my hat actually and make sure it stays in the bag. I guess you can't really. Right here's the back of my hat, so I'm going to keep it to the back, and I'll just sew my flower kind of up here to where it'll be on the side of the hat. Maybe right up here. And just take your yarn needle and just sew it right onto the brim, or not the brim, I guess the band, single crochet band. That's where I'm going to sew mine onto, and just sew it a couple times until you feel like it's come back up through the petal like that, until you feel like it's on tight. And then I'll probably sew a button, maybe if I can find a good button, a button in the middle of my flower, if I have one. I don't know, I'll have to check out my button supply, see what I got. But so I'm going to go ahead and finish this out, sewing this on just like this. And if you want to sew a button in the middle, you can do that. I'm going to look through mine still. And remember, you could have just left this flower off completely. That was entirely up to you if you wanted to put the flower on it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up here. And now it's on pretty tight. I may not put a button. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and finish and hide these tails. Okay, I got my flower sewed on. I dug through my buttons, and I found a little blingy button. I like blingy stuff. It's kind of a 5-petal flower, so I thought that looked pretty good. I put it right in the center. This button came from Walmart. If anybody's interested in it, that's where I got it. But remember, you don't have to do the button, and you don't even have to do the flower. That's completely up to you. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Don't forget to check out bagodaycrochet.com for the free written pattern. I'll put that below. And also don't forget to check out Red Heart too. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out all my other tutorials. And if you make this or anything else, I'd really love to see a picture of it. You can post a picture on the Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put links to all that stuff below in the description box. And until next time, have a good day.